Hi, I'm Haesley Cush, and I thought I'd give you an update as to what's happening on the Brisbane market and how we're handling inspections while still adhering to social distancing heading into this weekend's inspections and auctions. So quickly, just a bit of an insight for those of you wondering what's happening in the residential real estate market in Brisbane. I want to tell you fact-based, so far for the month, and we are about the 20th of the month, we have written, I think, $37 million in sales for the month. The reason I share that with you is because for the entire month of March last year, we did 40 million. So you're going to see that 2/3 of the way through the month, we're going to overtake that year-on-year interest. Activity is still happening. We sold 2 properties today around the $2 million range. We sold a property yesterday, sight unseen, to a buyer out of Cairns for $460,000, an apartment here in Newstead. Now, the 6 things that we've identified are really fueling the market. It's coming from a number of different areas. Brisbane prices are still cheap when you compare them to our southern capital cities, to Sydney and Melbourne. So our prices are really cheap in comparison to them. Funding's cheap. So today, just an hour ago, Reserve Bank dropped interest rates by another 2.25%. And we're probably very likely going to see that passed immediately on by the banks, which is going to see money at about 2.25% in the market, even at interest-only rates. So that's it's extraordinarily cheap, historically the lowest ever. So I mean, cheap properties with cheap funding makes it really far more affordable. The forward outlook for Brisbane is really good, and that's what was going to happen with Brisbane. January and February saw the biggest start to a year that we've seen in over a decade in terms of buyer inquiry, and that was off the back of Queen's Wharf and what was happening with that development, Cross River Rail in terms of infrastructure, and then talk about the Brisbane Live project and those sorts of things happening in the market. So the outlook was looking pretty good. What we've seen in the last week or so is 3 new things emerge, and that is real estate really starting to accelerate as an investment option for those people looking for different areas where they can put their money, looking outside of shares, looking outside of banks, looking at property, touch and feel assets with rents coming in. I want to let you know on the rental side of the business, tenants are still tuning over. We've done 50 odd rentals, new leases for the month of March alone. So there are a waiting pool of tenants there for those people that want to buy investment properties. And so we're seeing that is coming into the market. The 2 new ones is this interstate migration. People now looking at Brisbane thinking, well, I grew up in Brisbane, I want to move back home. I want to move back home. I've now learned that I can work quite safely and easily remotely, and I want to look at Brisbane as a place for me to go back to. Considering the value of properties there compared to where I am in these other capital cities, it looks like a great place to be. And finally, today, the Aussie dollar hit 56 cents versus the US dollar. We've already started to receive inquiry from internationals, either expats living overseas, or foreign investors looking at the Australian market, looking at Brisbane, and that change, that dramatic drop in the Aussie dollar is just making our property really look extraordinarily affordable when converted back. So that is a huge overview and a snapshot on what's still driving the property market. Hope to see you out on the footpaths this Saturday or online, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.